In today's video, I review Victoria's Secret model Sanne Vloet's recent What I Ate in a Day video for finding balance. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO, organic acid, stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. Now, one thing that I'm abundantly aware of is that my recent review videos have been female heavy. The ultimate reason for this is a lot more women are making these types of videos, and often these female influencers have substantial reach over a lot of impressionable teenagers and young adults. So I want to counter some of these absurdities often stated in these videos. If you have specific male influencers that you want me to review who are making some bogus claims and they have sizable audiences, then let me know in the comments below.
Of course, first thing in the morning what I eat or drink is a lot of water. I always have this like next to my bed and I immediately fill it up first thing in the morning and I drink like half of it already.
No cliche lemon water, good enough for me.
Every morning I also make my morning matcha. This has just been such an important step in kind of like my morning routine. It just like wakes me up. I feel clear, I feel like awake after it.
So that is all good. Matcha is a specialist grown and processed green tea leaf that is traditionally consumed in Southeast Asia. It is relatively high in antioxidants, which is good, although there are a lot of unsubstantiated health claims on the internet, such as that it's good for weight loss, it boosts brain function, and even that it protects from cancer. Little credible evidence exists to support some of these claims though. The other thing that I will quickly mention about matcha is its caffeine content. So on average there is around 95 grams of caffeine in a normal cup of coffee. Matcha is around 70 grams, so that is probably the feeling of being woken up that Sanne is referring to. Look, I'm not going to harp on about honey too much. We all know that global bee populations have substantially declined over the last 30 years or so, and pesticides are behind a lot of this decline. Manuka honey, or any other honey for that matter, are a non-necessity in the human diet. The Manuka honey could have easily been swapped out to something else, such as agave. But anyway, let's move on.
This is actually green smoothie I used to make a lot in Brooklyn. I add frozen banana to the cup, frozen spinach, frozen mango, vital protein collagen, and I'm trying my new ashwagandha powder from the brand Cos.
So collagen makes up around 30% of proteins within your body. It is super important for connective tissues and skin, etc. It's made from the amino acids glycine, proline, hydroxyproline and also arginine. And if you give the body all the raw material in the diet, there is zero need to spend 25 to 30 pounds a month on powders.
Ashwagandha is a superfood which can reduce the stress in the body and is very strong.
Ashwagandha is a food or herb. It's certainly not a superfood, and I detest that term superfood. Superfood is a term coined to ship products. The only thing that can be accurately said about ashwagandha today is that there is minimal evidence that it helps increase energy and stamina, there is minimal evidence that it helps to stabilise blood sugar levels, and it has a moderate antioxidant effect in the body. If you enjoy ashwagandha and it enhances your life, then great, but certainly don't believe the hype. Your health and wellness is based on the total sum of all parts in your diet. No specific food or herb has magical powers.
Ta-da, my smoothie. It's ready. I normally use I'm Wealthy protein powder, which I actually really like. For some reason, I feel like collagen protein powders just blend up really well in smoothies. And also they're really beneficial for like hair and skin and nails. So
yes, collagen is, but your body will synthesize all the collagen that the body needs. The body has done absolutely fine without powders for hundreds of millions of years, and I'm sure it will be fine for another few 100 million years. Marketers, on the other hand, may indeed struggle. Anyway, let's see what Sanne has for lunch.
Use 2 forks and shred the chicken in smaller pieces and add it to a bowl. To make it creamy, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of yogurt. I'm actually using coconut yogurt today. And 2 tablespoons of vegan yeast. To really create those flavors in this dish, add 1 tablespoon of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, squeeze half a lime and add a generous amount of salt. Mix everything together until smooth.
Again, the old adage, if more of the world's population ate balanced homemade meals like this, then the world's health would be in a much better place. Obviously, the use of animals in that meal is a non-necessity. There is nothing in that meal or nutrient that can't be replaced with plants.
Okay, my curry mixture is ready here. If you are completely plant-based and you don't eat any like fish or chicken or anything, you can also substitute this with mushrooms. I've never tried it before, but I've seen other people do this. I'm going to toast some bread and make my sandwich.
Kudos for recommending that people try plant-based alternatives.
I love using fresh sourdough bread from my favorite bakery in Justa in Venice.
Love sourdough bread. There is nothing like the smell of fresh bread in the mornings.
Taste test.
It's really, really good.
I love the combination also with pineapple in it, just makes it like very fresh. I think this is like an ongoing argument about pineapple in food. So until a couple years ago, I didn't even realize that pineapple on pizza was a thing, that people like hated that.
It's not a thing, it's life. If you put pineapple on a pizza, then you are a sadist. Anyhow, on that truth bomb, let's see how Sanne is tracking nutritionally so far. So many of you have previously asked the software that I use to calculate these figures for these days of eating. Up to now, I've just used Chronometer, but this has many limitations, but it is obviously very quick. So in my daily work as a nutritionist, I use dedicated nutrition software to analyse people's data. This enables me to add in a person's weight, height, date of birth, occupational and exercise activity levels, as well as many other important parameters. From here, I can then use nutritional target databases, utilise various energy calculation formulas, and this will fairly accurately calculate a person's daily energy requirements. So based on Sanne doing 3 to 4 intense workouts per week, we can see that based on her height, age and weight, that her current caloric requirement would be around 2,254 calories. So let's see how she is tracking for the day so far. So including breakfast and lunch, Sanne has consumed around 1,154 calories. The red boxes that you can see on screen indicate the recommended lower and upper limits for each macro and micronutrient. The black lines represent where Sanne is tracking and the blue lines are her targets for the day. So at the top we can see a summary of Sanne's macronutrients, and in terms of carbohydrates and fats she hasn't consumed a great deal, but in terms of protein she has had a decent amount already with the chicken consumed. As we move down, the carbohydrates can then be subdivided, so you can see everything from starches, oligosaccharides, and all the way down to things like fructose, sucrose, and lactose levels. Based on current recommendations, Sanne's fibre intake should be around 30 to 35 grams. For breakfast and lunch, she is around 16 grams. Below this is the lipid breakdown. Saturated fat is around 14.5 grams, which is okay. And then below this, we have the omega-3s and omega-6s, which after lunch still sees her below the current recommendations. For Sanne's minerals and trace minerals, she is tracking fairly well, with only potassium, calcium, zinc, selenium and iodine below the lower limits. In terms of Sanne's vitamin levels, she is tracking well for most, with only vitamin B2, which is still slightly below the current recommendations. In terms of percentages, around 31.9% of Sanne's meals so far have come from carbs, sugars account for around 12.8%, protein is around 31.1%, fat is around 37%, and saturated fats around 11.3%. In an ideal situation and following current recommendations, then you would obviously want this heavier on carbs with lower amount of proteins, etc. But obviously we're just 2 meals down, so let's see where Sanne goes for the rest of the day.
Marinate for the miso salmon tonight. Add 1/4 cup of mirin and 1/4 cup of sake in a small pan on medium heat. Boil for about 20 seconds and add a 1/4 cup of miso paste. Mix everything together until smooth. Add 3 tablespoons of coconut sugar until it melts. Be careful that the sugar doesn't burn here. It only takes a couple of seconds. Let the mixture cool down to room temperature.
So a little too much sugar in that for my own personal taste, but that recipe is very simple and I would imagine very tasty, and I would obviously prefer this to be on plants rather than the salmon. At the rate we are currently fishing, then who knows how much longer fish are still going to be in our streams and oceans, but let's move on.
Okay, my salmon steaks look a little sad today, and this is exactly the reason why I like to do my grocery shopping myself.
That salmon looks sad today. Move on.
I also found this squash at Trader Joe's, and because squash are still kind of in season, I thought it would be nice to make a spaghetti squash tonight with the salmon. I've never done that combination, but it should be delicious.
Love squash, super versatile, and it has good amounts of vitamin A, vitamin B6, vitamin C, folate, magnesium, fibre, phosphorus, and also potassium.
Let's start working on the spaghetti squash. This is honestly such an easy recipe to make and so delicious. Preheat the oven on 400 Fahrenheit and cut the spaghetti squash in half, which is actually the hardest part of the recipe. Is there a special technique on cutting this?
Anyone else getting anxious watching Sanne with that knife?
Poke the squash with a fork and sprinkle olive oil, salt and pepper on him. Put it in the oven for about 40 minutes and that's it.
Simple enough.
It is 4 p.m. I am craving something. Let me see, like a little snack. Where is it? I want to show you guys the truffle almonds I got from Trader Joe's, which are so addictive and so good. I don't know if you guys love truffle, but I really, really do.
Truffle is really nice as a treat every once in a while, but that is a £40 snack bag that you have in your pantry. Oh my, how the other half do live.
Oh, here it is. It's the roasted salted truffle macaroni almonds. I'm craving something more sweet today, which doesn't happen that often. I actually got this delivery from my friend No Bread, and she did a collaboration with a bakery. It has this little, let me see. Oh, someone ate half of it. Kind of Oreo cookies. So it's made with like almond butter, maple syrup, and like almond flour and stuff.
So it's good to see that she is not eating a lot of processed refined sugars, and as Sanne said during this video, if you have a sweet tooth, then these types of snacks or even something like dark chocolate will be great options for you.
And I do think if you have like really bad sugar cravings, I would find like healthier substitutions. So this is, for example, like a little pastry thing, but then a little healthier, or make like banana bread, or make like yogurt with granola. I think you shouldn't like restrict yourself from like snacking, but just find like healthier substitute. If you want chips, find like healthier chips, like sujete foods or with guacamole instead of just normal potato chips. Grab like veggies with like a guacamole, or just find good substitutions that you like, and or just like a little bit of a healthier version than other like pre-made snack foods.
Yes, amen to that.
I made dinner, but then Jason and Jesse's decided to stay over, and we were actually all craving pizza, so
Yeah, something wrong with this.
we just ordered pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something wrong.
stop eating it.
Still tastes good though.
Yeah, but maybe it tastes good, but like it's gonna like cause problems.
Yeah, I can feel it already.
Really? Serious? Don't eat it. Pizza here.
Salmon, squash and pizza. That's quite a concoction there.
Oh, do we have truffle? Actually, so this place is 00. It's a plant-based one here in Venice, and we've never tried it before. Wow. Ooh. We got truffle, we got a meatball calzone, but it's all plant-based. Pesto and pepperoni. And salmon. Yeah. Oh. I guess this was what I ate in a day today. So random, what we're doing just salmon now.
I'll eat the salmon too, I'm too hungry.
Okay, good. Well, pizza with salmon tonight.
Okay, really cool that they are having plant-based pizzas and exposing Sanne's audience to the idea that you can have tasty pizzas without the need of adding animals to them. So with that out of the way, let's see how Sanne's day of eating stacked up. So Sanne ate around 2,448 calories and her calculated target was around 2,254. This is no problem at all based on Sanne being very active. In terms of her macronutrients, Sanne ate under the current recommendations for carbohydrates, and I will get into this more in a minute, and in terms of protein she was a fair bit over her daily requirements. In terms of carbohydrates, Sanne got a reasonable blend. She just met the recommendations in terms of fibre, and obviously if she was to increase this slightly, then there would be further reduced risks associated with a number of different types of diseases. In terms of fats, Sanne ate below the recommendations for saturated fats, which is good. She was slightly under for her target for monounsaturated fats, and for polyunsaturated fats, so omega-3s and 6s, she overachieved the minimum requirements. In terms of minerals and trace minerals, she was generally very good. The only nutrient that was in question was iodine. So this is super important for nearly all functions in the body after the body has synthesized iodine into the thyroid hormones. Recommendations for iodine, depending on the country, are set around 140 to 150 micrograms as a minimum. Sanne consumed around 69 micrograms. This is obviously an isolated day of eating, so it is difficult to draw any conclusions, and I also don't know if she is supplementing. Sanne's intake of vitamins were generally very good across the board. In terms of a quick macronutrient analysis, 32.1% of Sanne's diet come from carbs and 16.9% from sugars. 27.5% come from protein, 35.8% come from fat, and 9.5% come from saturated fats. In summary, as a day of eating, it was generally okay. As I said earlier, it would have been nice to see Sanne fall in line with the recommendations and have a slightly higher percentage of calories coming from carbohydrates. Higher amounts of fibre would also be good to see. It would also be good to see someone like Sanne with a substantial following to have more plant-based only days, but again, as I said earlier, if many people in the world change their eating patterns to replicate Sanne's, then maybe healthcare systems wouldn't be so oversubscribed. Anyhow, that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.